welcome to my studio. I'm Debbie Tribble of Dreamweaver Quilting. Thanks for joining me for Tuesday's Tiny Tip. Today's tip is bobbin storage. Why should you and how will you store your bobbins? I'm going to give you a little information to get you started. To begin with, there's over 60 different types of bobbins available today. It's important to use the correct bobbin for your machine. To determine what bobbin is correct for the machine you are using, you can contact the dealer you purchased your machine from. Another great source of information is the owner's manual. Use the machine make as well as the model to help determine the correct bobbin for your machine. Using the bobbin designed for your sewing machine is important. Some bobbins will fit into a machine they're not designed for. However, you won't get the desired results, which will ultimately lead to frustration. If you have several machines, storing like bobbins together will save you time. Keeping your bobbins in some type of storage system will make them easier to find, and it will keep them protected from damage as well. Don't drop or handle your bobbins roughly, as bobbins can bend, burr, or nick. Your bobbins need to stay round and damage-free to operate correctly. A closed storage system will help to prevent your bobbins from collecting dust. Dust is harmful to thread and metal. When I was young and learning to sew, my mom had a cabinet model Singer Slant-O-Matic. It had a sewing bench. The lid was removable, and most everything in the way of notions, threads, bobbins, and scissors were stored in the area under the removable seat cushion. Convenient, but not organized. The bobbins and thread were a constant opportunity for rewinding. As the bench moved, the thread would spool off. Oh, and I did mention that the bench was to use while you were sewing, so it moved at least twice, once as you prepared and once when you put things away. Having some sort of compartmentalized system would have helped immensely. I'm going to share my storage system with you. I will also give you some additional options to consider. Well, remember, what works for you may be different than what works for me, and it may take time to develop your own system. But that's okay. It's all just part of your creative journey. What works great for me is these little plastic boxes. They come in different sizes and are an affordable option. I have found them in hardware stores as well as sporting goods stores. Most recently, I have been purchasing them from Harbor Freight. I have each box marked with the machine type. In the case of my long arm bobbin storage, I simply organize by the thread type wound on the bobbin. My long arm bobbins live next to my standalone bobbin winder, making them easily accessible when ready to wind. Storage on my domestic machine includes a tidiness factor. While I'm not concerned about the bobbins being damaged in the small boxes, I would rather that the threads not become a jumbled mess. There are products available to purchase that would help to keep the threads contained, such as the bobbin minders I have on these small clear plastic bobbins of a fine thread I use for hand applique. You can also purchase little tiny ponytail holders to cover your thread. You'll have to remove the holder to see the thread color. My current favorite is small pieces of plastic tubing cut into segments and slit to fit over the thread. I can see the color while my threads stay tidy. When beginning a new project, I wind several bobbins with the same thread. Here is how I keep them handy for use. This is a cute little bobbin and scissor holder I stick on the side of my machine. I also have this magnetic bobbin holder that will keep threads ready for use. When winding for my long arm, it's not unusual to have up to 15 bobbins ready to use. I use this rubberized bobbin holder made especially for my M bobbins. I wind them, place them in the ring, and they are ready to use as I need them. Well, that's it for now. I hope you join me next week for another Tiny Tip Tuesday.